Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Premier. According to statistics published by the Ministry of Transportation, the number of deaths caused by distracted walking did not increase at all between 1993 and 2012. This means there's little or no evidence that the advent of cell phones has led to an increase in deaths due to distracted walking. However, these MTO statistics show that deaths due to distracted driving nearly tripled during the same time. The OPP says distracted driving now causes more deaths than impaired driving or speeding. So why is the government contemplating a bill that treats distracted walking as the problem and not distracted driving?
Thank you. For Transportation.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I think the member from Parkdale High Park knows that this is a private member's bill that she's alluding to, that I anticipate will be brought forward at some point to the legislature, Speaker. On the larger topic that was contained or embedded in her question, I think she knows that on this side of the House, our Premier and our government have moved forward aggressively in targeting distracted driving and impaired driving, Speaker, and a whole host of other initiatives that we've undertaken through two pieces of legislation, Bill 31 and Bill 65, that have passed here over the last couple of years. Just a few weeks ago, the Premier announced, and I announced as well with the Premier, that we're going forward with additional proposals to toughen some of these sanctions, Speaker. For the last 16 consecutive years, the province of Ontario has ranked first or second across North America for road safety. But, Speaker, we know that our work is not done. It's why the ministry is focused exclusively on making sure that we have the toughest penalties for those behaviours that are not acceptable, Speaker, and we're going to keep working hard to make sure that we get it right.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question back to the Premier. I'm sure that the Minister of Transportation was very well aware of this private member's bill coming forward and, in fact, vetted it. Last week, the group Friends and Family for Safe Streets organized a vigil at Toronto City Hall to remember the 54 people who have died this year alone from traffic violence. There was also a ghost bike ride for David De Los Santos, who was killed by a truck driver after dropping off his daughter at school. He did nothing wrong. Drivers who commit offences that seriously injure or kill vulnerable road users face no meaningful consequences. They can simply mail in a check. Instead of bills that blame victims, will the government pass my Bill 168, the Protecting Vulnerable Road Users Act, and take real action to protect pedestrians, cyclists, seniors, and children who share our streets?
Minister.
Thanks very much, Speaker. So I'm going to do my best to give the member from Parkdale High Park the benefit of the doubt, Speaker. I know that she is an advocate for making sure that we also work collectively and collaboratively to protect our most vulnerable road users. But that member also knows that just a few days ago, we announced as a government that we would be moving forward with a number of legislative proposals that will be introduced later this year, Speaker, that would also include in them the toughest penalty, if passed, the toughest penalty in the Highway Traffic Act, careless driving causing bodily harm or death on the road, Speaker, that would contain up to a $50,000 fine if convicted, and also no more than 2 years in jail, Speaker. Again, the toughest penalty in the Highway Traffic Act if passed. In addition, Speaker, we continue to have crackdowns on distracted driving, impaired driving, both alcohol and drug-impaired driving, Speaker. We continue to drive home the message that we have to protect our most vulnerable road users. It's why we passed Bill 65, Speaker, with respect to safety in school zones and community safety zones. It's why we're working closely with the OPP and others, Speaker.